Good to see you.
Alright there, Revenants, welcome back to Code Vein in the Road 100, and today we are going to be running, a uh, average build that most everybody will be running at some point in time as they go up against the Blade Bearer and Cannoneer here. And typically people praise Atlas as one of the most valued blood codes at the beginning of the game. However, as you get towards end game, like many playthroughs into the game, you'll notice a lot of its shortcomings once you start playing around with all of the gifts in the game, because you'll notice that there are just a lot of red marks everywhere in every single tab and category, and that is just because of the fact that Atlas has a lot of D's and C's in all the places where utility is typically found in the game. So as we go into the Blade Bearer and Cannoneer fight here, we will attempt to do some element resistances, some physical resistances, and you'll notice that it's just very subpar, but this is a typical average like movement that somebody would make as they move into this area, because typically in the Souls games, physical damage attacks and stuff, it's just a get good mentality, and there's no shortcut or way about maneuvering around a boss. You just have to get good and get through it. And for these two, the trick is elemental resistances and then becoming invincible. So that is typically what you want to be doing, instead of doing something average where you are just sitting there trying to whack the boss. So keep that in mind, because most of the time it just is too brutal here for us to actually figure out how to get around these two, because the Cannoneer is slow and fast a little bit, but the Blade Bearer is just unbelievably to the point of almost unfair movement schemes. And you'll notice that as we move along here, it's just a little bit too overbearing. And I'm not talking about, speedrunners or folks that do crazy challenge runs. Oh, and there's our first glitch there. Okay. And you can see that the Blade Bearer is just unbelievably crazy in how she goes about engaging with the player. And there's just like so much you have to pay attention to in this fight. There are very little attack windows, and even fewer healing windows, and most of the time you are on the defensive, and there is very little opportunity for someone with a two-handed sword to be on the offensive. It's just incredibly difficult at not min-maxing or hyper-specializing into any one thing. And because Vayne makes such a... oh my goodness, my mouse. Because Vayne makes such a hard carry on gifts and such, the ability to not be into the setups here, it's absolutely crazy. As you can see, we are just constantly on the defensive here. And it's just how the nature of these two bosses operate. And because you can't watch both of them at the same exact time, and every time you go to, see there, he's speeding up. Every time you go to heal or do something of that nature, one of them is on you like crazy, and we got one attack off, 2 attacks off there on the Blade Bearer, and then the Cannoneer came in and took us out with some of his attacks. So even if you focus on one, you are constantly having to figure out how to get to the other one in a very short order here. Okay, they exploded on me, very bad, and again exploded on me. And now, since we have Firm Stand active, we have the ability to withstand a killing blow if we are above about 1128 HP. So 1/3 of your health comes from Firm Stand, and that is really important to understand the difference in how that operates and when you have more than 1/3 health. On higher difficulties, it's harder to make use of Firm Stand because your healing is not as strong as it is in lower health amounts. Okay, but that is how Firm Stand operates, and it's a pretty good gift overall. So you can see there we've got physical and elemental to deal with here, and you can see just how absolutely brutal this is when we're not hyper specialized. We don't have a partner, you know, and typically people when they move into this fight, they will bring Yakumo with them, and when Yakumo is brought to this fight, because this is kind of how the you know, the first playthroughs typically go, because everybody's still kind of feeling things out. It still goes about like this on the first playthrough, because you're trying to figure things out, you're trying to understand what's going on, and there is not really any kind of understanding as to, you know, what is appropriate or not for each of the activities that you're going for. Okay, so now that we have a partner, we can actually focus here on one enemy, and even though we have the ability here to focus on one enemy, it doesn't really matter, because they switch and swap between each other so much here that it doesn't matter what you do, because they constantly AI switch here. And you can see that she got tired of fighting against me, and she went over and just killed Yakumo. So the AI ability to switch here is pretty incredible overall. Now we absolutely need to get our gifts going here. Okay, we got ice, so that's okay. Oh, that is a death sentence. Yep, we got caught in the flames. So you can see that Yakumo, he didn't really too much benefit from anything, and this is a typical average attack strategy that most everybody goes for on their first run, because everything's new about the gift system and stuff, and once you figure out the gift system or bayonets or something else that, you know, like a super poison build or something. Oops, okay, I can't get the ice, there we go. And so it's kind of difficult a lot of times to actually try and figure out, you know, and as you can see, it just is so incredibly difficult here to get both of them. Okay. Oh, nice. And these icicles are definitely going to destroy us. And Firestorm here is just to knock her around. It is not to do any kind of... there you go. You can see that we got a stagger there, which is great. We absolutely want to get as many staggers as we possibly can. Oh boy. Oh, that is a super death sentence here. Okay. Let's heal again. Okay, more stagger there. Okay, we got fire going, that's good. Yakumo's gonna die here in a second. Oh boy. Okay, let's go for this guy then. And she's coming in hot. Yep, you can just feel it, you know. So this is the pressure that you feel with this fight. It is unbelievable, just how incredibly intense this fight actually is, or any kind of average build set, because it is constantly, you know. I mean, look at that movement pattern. And we're dead. So we took one attack window there, and we just got completely flattened. So this is the inability of average builds as you move into the later sections of the game. And you can see here that if we change to somebody like White Mia, and then we switch out our build for literally anything that's like, you know, min-maxing. So if we go for something like Queen, and then we just like randomly switch up here. I mean, we don't even need to. We can just go for the pipe even. It doesn't matter. Let's go for the gold pipe, just so it looks nice. And then and we'll go for ice and fire, and we'll go here for let's see, we'll just pick up fire here, and then this is fine. These are not fine, so then we'll do this, this, let's see, let's go for some stamina regen, and let's see, we're going to be focused all the time, so let's get some this, and we'll go for dark. I guess we'll do that, Ichor and dark. And then here we're going to go elemental wall, and this is just the absolutely craziest thing that you can go for in these later levels, is just how unbelievably you know, like imbalanced, kind of, in a sense, that gifts are for the player, because of how crazy and amazing all of this can be when you put it all together. So this is why going for average stuff will typically get sussed out and teased out as soon as you get to something like this, because of the fact that you just always will come to the point where you come to the Blade Bearer, you come to the Cannoneer, and you will always feel the effects of it, if your build is good or not. So it's absolutely crazy. Oops, wrong dude. Let's get rid of our shield. And you can see that since she's like everywhere all the time, you can't really keep up with her. Okay. Okay, let's get some items going here. Mia's definitely having a hard time there. You do? Excellent. And you can see that this isn't even like an optimized super build here or anything. This is just literally like going for just some activity. I mean, it's actually doing not too bad, but it's still, you know, tough to get through this fight just because this fight is what it is here. And typically the Blade Bearer is the better one to get rid of first. It's just typically how it goes. Not always the case with certain other builds and stuff. But it is definitely on the better the better advice version. Okay, let's get some health here. Let's get rid of her shield. Okay. See? And there she just decided to give up on me for whatever reason. Okay. I mean, look at that movement. What is that movement pattern? There's no way to predict it. There's no way to, you know, deal with it. You just have to kind of take it. Okay, so now with her gone, we can switch this to Icarus Ice, and we can switch to Guard of Honor, which is fine. And then we can run over here, and this guy is going to just, you know, go down very, very easily. We'll just smack him here a little bit for the fact that we can use a crush weapon here to make sure that he staggers more often than normal. And we'll just let Mia do whatever she's doing there. Okay. And we'll just get in here with some attacks. So you can see that with just like a random thrown together gifts only kind of setup here, this boss fight is like way, way, way easier than it was previously. And that's just with a little bit of, you know, introduction here into how much better it can be. And it's just night and day difference. And that's why I don't necessarily enjoy normal average builds, because of the fact that like they're just so intense to try and go against that nothing is specialized, and Vayne gives you so many options to be able to specialize in this game, and they absolutely need to be taken advantage of in order to take on a boss like this. Because doing just average sword slashing stuff, it just is not going to cut it. It's almost harder to play with a build that's underprivileged than going for like a challenge run, because you actually have like something like a goal in mind, something to go for. And if you're just going for average gameplay and stuff, then a lot of times things just get really difficult really quick, and there's no real incentive to keep going, because it just gets more and more frustrating and harder and harder and harder, because you keep trying the same build over and over and over, and it, you know, just feels like, well, you know, this Atlas build, this can get you through pretty much anything and everything throughout the entire game. Something like this, this would be actually a pretty decent average build overall. The problem with it is that once you get to something like the Blade Bear and Cannoneer, if you're not specializing and using everything that the game gives to you in order to actually focus on the highlights and the weaknesses, then it's just going to run over you, as most people have found out in their years of playing through Vayne, that the Blade Bear and Cannoneer boss fight is no joke. It is super intense all the way through. So don't go for average for this fight. It's just not worth it for the time investment, unless you have something to prove to someone, to show them something. If you're just playing casually through the game, specialize for this fight. Because it will make it so much easier than just carrying yourself through on whatever level and whatever build you want to put together. So keep that in mind as you go through this boss fight. It is probably, if not one of the most difficult boss fights I've ever come across in any game ever. The movement patterns are so erratic, they're almost impossible to predict. And the Blade Bearer can switch and swap if you have partners at any point in time, and there's no aggro holding with these bosses. They can switch and swap however they want to at even like mid attack, they can switch and then finish an attack and then switch over to the other one. It's absolutely a nightmare to try and understand. And if you go against them solo, they have so many attack timings that it's very, 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 very difficult to get any kind of timing window where you have some kind of attack that you can put out on them. And mostly your best bet is going to be going gifts against them, because if you go for two-handed swords, they're just a little bit too slow. So I would recommend one-handed swords, maybe a polearm, and maybe bayonets. Hammers and two-handed swords are kind of out if you're going for just some kind of average build setup. But poison is your friend for this fight, absolutely, and you can get through it, but I would highly recommend specializing, because going for average, it just is too average to the point that you need to be in the upper echelon of builds in order to actually even get through this fight. And then you need to be a skill level much higher to even have like an enjoyable time going through this fight. So keep that in mind as you go through Vayne. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye.